I'm Robert Harrison. I'm 77 years old. I'm about to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Everything you think you know about success and what matters in life is completely wrong. The reason I'm making this video isn't to get sympathy or to make myself feel wise. I'm making this because I'm running out of time, and there are things you need to hear before you make the same irreversible mistakes I did. But before I tell you what happened, you need to understand something. At 74, I threw myself a birthday party. Nobody came. I'm not being dramatic. I sent out 23 invitations. I made reservations at a steakhouse. I wore my best suit. And I sat there alone at a table set for 12, with the waiter awkwardly asking if I wanted to wait a few more minutes before ordering. I didn't cry in the restaurant. I smiled at the waiter, ordered the ribeye, and ate alone while families laughed at tables around me. But when I got home and saw the birthday cake I'd picked up that morning sitting on my kitchen counter, something inside me broke. The house was silent. No phone calls, no text messages, nothing. But lying there in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, I realized something terrifying. This didn't happen to me. I did this to myself. Let me tell you the biggest lie you're probably telling yourself right now. I'll make time for people later. I see young men in their 20s, 30s, even 40s, and they're all saying the same thing. When I get this promotion, then I'll call my brother back. When this project is done, then I'll visit my parents. When I finally have free time, then I'll reconnect with my old buddies. Let me save you 50 years of regret with one simple truth. That day never comes. You know why? Because work expands to fill whatever time you give it. There's always another deadline, always another meeting, always another reason why today isn't the right day. I did this. I spent 45 years building a career in finance only to realize when I retired that I had spent those same 45 years systematically destroying every meaningful relationship I had. And you can't go back and relive those years. Time doesn't work that way. Here's something nobody tells you when you're young. Success is a terrible goal. And I say this as someone who achieved everything I set out to achieve. I made managing director at one of the biggest investment banks in New York. I closed deals worth hundreds of millions. I had a corner office on the 52nd floor overlooking the Hudson River. And you know what? None of it mattered. You achieve your goal, and for about 3 days you feel amazing. Then the feeling fades. You're back to baseline. Now you need a new goal, a bigger deal, a more prestigious client. It's a hamster wheel, and you don't realize you're on it until you finally step off and look around. I had a colleague who died at his desk at 61, literally died while on a conference call. At his funeral, his son stood up to speak, and he couldn't. He just stood there crying because he didn't know his father well enough to share a single, meaningful memory. He was 26 years old, and he had to ask his mother what to say about his own dad. Is that the legacy you want? Your regrets won't be about the things you did wrong. They'll be about the things you didn't do at all. I don't lie awake at night thinking about the deals I lost or the clients I disappointed. Those don't matter. I lie awake thinking about my son's Little League championship game when he was 10. I missed it because I had a client dinner. He's 48 now. We haven't spoken in 4 years. I think about my best friend from high school, Mike. We were inseparable, played football together, went to prom with our dates in the same limo. He called me every few months for the first decade after college, then every year, then he stopped calling. I found out 2 years ago that he died of a heart attack. I wasn't at the funeral because I didn't even know he was sick. I think about my father. He lived 15 minutes from my apartment in Manhattan. 15 minutes. I saw him maybe 3 times a year, always rushing, always checking my phone, always with one foot out the door. He died alone in a nursing home at 79. The nurse told me he used to wait by the window every Sunday. Is my son coming today? The answer was always no. That's what haunts me. Not my professional failures, the empty spaces where people should have been, Here's what actually happens when you prioritize your career over your relationships. It happens so gradually you don't notice it. You miss one family barbecue, then another. You skip your nephew's graduation because you have a work trip. You stop answering calls from your old college roommates because you're too tired. And people understand. At first, they know you're busy. They know you're grinding. They give you grace. But here's what you don't realize. Everyone has a limit. Your brother stops inviting you to things because you never show up anyway. Your old buddies stop texting the group chat because you never respond. Your kids learn that your work is more important than their soccer games. And one day you look up and you're alone. Not because anyone hurt you, not because of some dramatic falling out, but because you slowly, quietly communicated to every person in your life that they weren't a priority. I'm 77 years old. I have a beautiful condo in Manhattan. I have a retirement portfolio that most people would envy. I have awards on my wall and articles about my deals in Forbes and the Wall Street Journal. I also have a phone that doesn't ring. I have holidays spent alone. I have a dining table that seats 8 people but never has anyone sitting at it. I traded people for achievements. And you can't trade back. Let me tell you about Sarah. Sarah was my ex-wife. We divorced when I was 39. It was amicable, if you can call it that. I was working 90-hour weeks. She wanted to start a family, wanted me home for dinner once in a while. I told her I was building something. She waited 6 years, then she left. She remarried, had 2 kids. I saw photos on social media once or twice a year. Last summer I ran into her at a coffee shop. She's 75 now. We talked for 20 minutes. She told me about her grandchildren, showed me pictures on her phone. Her face lit up when she talked about them. Then she asked about my life. I told her about a consulting gig I'd taken on, helping a startup with their Series B funding, keeping myself busy in retirement. And there was this moment where she looked at me with such profound sadness and she said, "You're still doing it, aren't you?" Still doing what? Still choosing the deal over everything else. She hugged me goodbye, and I watched her walk to her car where her husband was waiting. They held hands. They were going to pick up their grandson from baseball practice. I went home to my empty condo and sat in silence for 3 hours. She was right. Even in retirement, I was still choosing empty accomplishments over connection. Still telling myself that I was busy, that I'd reach out to people later, that I was just too tired today. The only difference was now I couldn't even use work as an excuse. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Some mistakes are irreversible. I can't call my father and apologize. He's gone. I can't rebuild my relationship with my son. He's made it clear he's done trying. I can't resurrect the friendships I let die through neglect. This is it. This is what I built with my 77 years on earth. An impressive resume and an empty house. Now let me tell you what you need to do differently. First, respond to the text. Answer the call. Your buddy is reaching out because he wants to connect with you. It takes 30 seconds to say, "Good to hear from you, man." You have 30 seconds. Second, show up to the birthday party, to the wedding, to your kid's recital, to the funeral. I guarantee you that 20 years from now, you won't remember the client meeting you had that day. But the people in your life will remember whether you were there for them. Third, prioritize presence over presence. Your kids don't want the expensive Xbox. They want you to play catch with them. Your parents don't need you to pay for dinner at a fancy steakhouse. They need you to sit with them and actually listen. Fourth, say the thing now. Tell your friend you appreciate him. Tell your wife you love her. Tell your parents you're grateful. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you feel less busy. Say it now, today, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Fifth, schedule it or it won't happen. Put Call Dad on your calendar every Sunday. Block out time for your kids' games. Treat your relationships like the important meetings they are. Because if you only invest in your relationships when it's convenient, you'll look up one day and realize you invested nothing at all. And sixth, the most important one, Understand that this is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a practice round. You don't get a second chance to be present for your child's childhood. You don't get to rewind and be there when your friend needed you. I'm recording this in my condo in Manhattan. It's 3 p.m. on a Tuesday. The sun is coming through my window. It's a beautiful day, and I am utterly, completely alone. Not lonely, alone. There's a difference. Lonely is a feeling, alone is a fact. It's the consequence of 1,000 small choices that seemed reasonable at the time. I know what some of you are thinking, but I have to work hard. I have bills to pay. I have responsibilities. I'm not telling you to quit your job. I'm not telling you to stop being ambitious. I'm telling you that there's a difference between working to live and living to work. I'm telling you that no one on their deathbed wishes they'd spent more time at the office. I'm telling you that your kids won't remember how many deals you closed, but they'll remember that you weren't there. I'm telling you that relationships require maintenance. You can't just ghost people for months or years and expect them to still be there when you finally have time. One more thing I need you to understand. Your career will leave you. Eventually, one way or another, your career will end. You'll retire. You'll get laid off. Your industry will change. Your health will fail. When that happens, what will you have left? If the answer is nothing, then you're building your entire life on a foundation that's guaranteed to disappear. I started making this video because I wanted to warn you, but honestly, I think part of me is making it because I needed someone to talk to. That's where I'm at. I'm making videos for strangers on the internet because I successfully eliminated every meaningful relationship from my actual life. Don't be like me, please. Don't be like me. Tomorrow, do one thing differently. One thing. Call someone you've been meaning to call. Say yes to an invitation you'd normally decline. Put your phone down during dinner. Show up to something that matters to someone you love. One thing, that's all I'm asking. Because I promise you, the day will come when you want to do these things, and you can't. The person won't be there anymore. The invitation will stop coming. The opportunity will have passed. I'm 77 years old. I'm telling you this now while you still have time, while your father is still alive to call, while your kids still want you at their games, while your buddies still remember your name. Don't make the same mistake I did. Don't wake up at 77 and realize you spent your entire life earning the respect of people who don't know you while losing the love of people who did. Don't let that be your story. Thank you for watching.